Francis, you joined. Isabella, Tyrell, can you see well from there? Yeah. I think that's it. Goes to D. Isabella, just make sure, were you here yesterday online? I don't have your mark here. Okay. All right. Right with you folks. Most likely, submit a picture of what you've done right now. Okay, and that'll be over Google Classroom. But for today, we're gonna try something else. So grab a marker or a pen. Okay. Those of you are at home, even here, just grab a marker or a pen, and so we're gonna make corrections. And even if you haven't done it, you write it in with that pen or a different color to see what is the correct answer supposed to be. Okay, so A is asking us what is the ratio of blue to green, right? Blue paint to green paint, right? So blue and green, so it'd be 3 to 6. So that's just a one marker. You would get half if you get it to this, but really it's supposed to be, right? You can divide, you can simplify them both. So that'd be 1 to 2 to get full marks. Okay, so this one is worth 1 mark. So half if you get it to here, but if you want the full mark, it has to be simplified, right? So keep that in mind. B, it's asking what the ratios of red to green. right? You go up there, red to green, that'd be 2 to 6. So 2 to 6, that would reduce to, right? You can divide both of them by 2, so it'd be 1 to 3. That is supposed to, so half mark if you get the 2 to 6 in that order. If you're mixing that up, I would just say 0, okay? If you're mixing this up, because it has to be in the order that the question was talking about. Okay, so that's that. For C, right, if Mia mixes a batch and uses 350 milliliters of blue, how much of green would she have used, right? So we're talking about blue, right, and green. So the one that compares blue and green, right, we would have to go and get it from here. Blue and green is 3 to 6, or we already got it here in A. So it's up to you if you want to use that one or this one. But blue and green is 3 to 6, 3 blue, right, and 6 green. And therefore, on the other side, right, they're telling you how much blue you've used, 350. So you put the 350 mLs of blue up here because it got a match. And then we make that our unknown. So how much of green would you have used? The only two numbers that you can cross multiply are these two. So to find x, we would go 6 times 350 divided by 3, right? And that'll be 700 milliliters, okay? So that's what you're supposed to get there for that. Okay, so that's C. So what's the mark breakdown there? Okay, I told you it was worth 2 marks, okay? So I would say 1 mark for setting up, okay? So you got 1 mark there, and then 1 more mark for actually calculating and getting the right answer. If you forgot your units, you take off half, right? So the 3 main, if you ever see an R circle, that's rounding. If you see a U circle, that's units. If you see an N, that's notation. So let's say you forget an equal sign, right? That's a notation. You forget mLs, that'd be units, or if you forget a dollar sign, if it has to be, that's units, and rounding, it's obviously you're not rounding correctly. So every time you see this, I take off half a mark, okay? So that's what you're supposed to get for full marks. You have to have this set up, and there's calculations as well, okay? And then D is probably the one that we will have struggled with the most, I'm assuming, okay? This is the type that we did towards the end of yesterday's class. So, and I told you to add that to your study sheet, right? A type like that. Joshua, you joined. Welcome. 2:30. Okay. Right, welcome though. We are just working through an AC that I made them work through, okay? Next we have D. How do we do that one? That's a total question, right? So we used, you already made a batch, and you want to know, well, how much of, in this case, blue and red are in the mix. So we're asking for blue. I'm gonna do it like this: blue to red, or red to blue. In this case, it doesn't matter. So let's go up and figure that out. Blue to red would be 3 to 2. Okay, 3 to 2, like that. And in this case, you add them up. Okay, so there's 5 parts here, 5 parts. Okay, but there's another key component here. There's also green in the mix. So plus, and this is a little unfair, this you haven't seen before. So the 6 parts green also need to be added, because you have to have all the parts that make up this particular color and place, right? So that would be 5 and 6 is 11 parts total. Okay, so what we do is we go 1 over the 11 parts and we multiply it by the total amount that you've mixed. In this case, right, it's 2,500 mLs. And so basically when you do this, it's 1 times 2,500 divided by 11, which is really just 2,500 divided by 11. And that is 227.2727 milliliter per part. Sorry, I'm running out of runway there. So it's 227.2727. So for each part that's in the mix, it is equivalent to this. Okay? So to find out blue, how many parts of blue did you have? Well, in this, there's 3 parts. So 3 times 227.2727. And red would be 2 times 227.2727. We're not rounding too early, okay? $681.82 if we round it, milliliters. And the other one will be, I know it's a little, this one, I didn't think this one through, guys. I don't think it is fair to add this part because you've only have been exposed to 2 things that are being mixed, and I made you do that. So if you stuck to 5 and you went 1 over 5 and this, I will give you the marks there. I will not expect you to add that third component here of green, right? I just wanted them all to be connected to this question. So that would be 500 mLs, right? If it's 5. So 1 over 5 times this, that'd be 5 mL. So it'd be 1,500 and 1,000 here. So if you did that, I will honor that. And we'll get to that. So basically, how do we allocate the marks here? I would say this one, this step right here gives you half a mark. This step right here gives you half, and then half and half for finding the amounts for blue and red. So half for adding these two, do you have that? Another half for figuring out what it is per part, and then figuring out each, in this case blue and red separately. That'd be another half each. So 1 and another 1 here. Okay. So in total, you're supposed to have had 6 marks here. Okay. So I want you to go to the top and add up what you got, right? So this is, right, 1 and 1. C was worth 2 marks. D was worth 2 marks as well, so 6 in total. So at the top here somewhere, write down what you got out of 6. Make sure your name is on that piece of paper. And then I want you to submit it. Even if you're here right now, I would like you to submit it in Google Classroom. And it's there. So if you go to Google Classroom right now, I will show you. I have my iPad here. It makes marking a lot easier. Yeah, PDF preferred. So if you go to classwork, you tap on classwork, it says here Wednesday, September 16th, it says AC1 upload here. So you would just upload your work there. So right now I'm just seeing, right, all of my students. So obviously you're not going to see that, but you basically just upload your assignment here. Okay. So take a picture of your work and then upload it onto there. I'll give you a little bit of time to do that, and I'll see. I'm going to look as things are coming in. And let's take a little bit of time to see I want to see those coming in.